What are some of the things that you used to love doing when you were younger as a child? That is one of the keys that you can be able to know what your passions are. Hi everyone and welcome back to Can You See Me? This is a podcast where I hold space for you so that you can be fully seen, heard and accepted as you are. I'm your host Nganga Gashie, and on today's episode I want us to talk about passion. I know that all of us have had something about passion, in whatever, whichever videos you watch out there, you have heard something about passion. And as Africans, one of the things I've realized is that we don't normally look at passion as one of the key ingredients in deciding or probably making a decision into what you are supposed to do in your life, and especially in terms of business. And so I know the question that you are asking yourself today is, what is passion? And so passion is that desire that you have inside your heart. It is that fire that is burning within you. It is probably that burden that you feel in your heart. Because what I know is that you don't just feel a certain way concerning something for nothing. That has to speak volume to whatever it is that you want to do. And I know that today I'm talking to somebody who's probably asking themselves, what can I do with my life? What kind of a business can I get involved in? And so passion is critical. Passion is that fire that burns inside your soul. It is that thing that you can't seem to shake off. Even as you do your daily thing, it is that thing that is deep inside you. And I know now the question that probably most of us are asking ourselves is, what if I do not know my passion? How can I find my passion? And so there are some different things I want us to look at on this episode so that it can inform you as a young person out there. So because at the end of the day, you need to understand what this passion looks like. And so one of the areas that I have seen that really works wonders in terms of passion is, what is the one thing that you used to love when you were a young person? Just think about it in your childhood. What are some of the things that you used to love? You used to love doing. You used to love probably writing. You used to love probably playing or singing or acting or dancing or whatever it is. Because one of the things I've realized is when we are younger, when we are children, we are usually free to express ourselves in terms of what it is that we feel that we want to do. And we normally don't have rules in terms of what we do. But even as we grow up, as we become a bit older, there are so many voices that come into being. Even as we go to school, we realize that there are some teachers in school who start speaking things in our minds, and they seem to silence the things that we feel like we have a passion and a love for. So the question is, and I want you to just take time to reflect on this, what are some of the things that you used to love doing when you were younger as a child? That is one of the keys that you can be able to know what your passions are. The second thing I want you to take time to think about is, what is it that you do in your own free time that you seem to stay in that one place for a long time and you don't seem to realize that time has passed you by? And one of the things I've seen, even in my experiences, even as I was looking at what are the things that I love, I realized that there are things that I normally do and I can't seem to track time. I lose track of time as I do those things. For me personally, it is about traveling. I love traveling. I can travel all day long and I can't seem to track time. And so the question I'm asking you is what is that one thing, or what are those things that you seem to do, you love doing them, and you can't seem to track your time. You can even be maybe seated somewhere and it is lunchtime, or it is, dinner time, and you can't seem to realize that it is time to eat. You just want to continue doing what you're doing. That is one of the keys for you to discover what your passions are. Another thing that I've realized that is key, it is a key ingredient to really show you what are your passions. And the other thing is, what are some of the things that burden your heart? And I've realized that there are some things that we feel a burden for. For example, for me, when I look at young people not living to their fullest potential, I feel a lot of burden for that. When I see a young person out there and they are just wasting their life, they are just living purposelessly, I get to the point where I feel a burden of how can I be able to be of assistance to this young person so that he or she can be able to, to be able to tap into their potential. And I believe that even for you, that is the case. There are things that you feel a burden for. I don't know what that could be. For some of you, it could be climate change. For others, it could be youth unemployment, like for me. For others, it could be maybe you have seen a lot of people being crushed in their relationships and you want to be that person who brings healing in relationships. So whatever it is, the thing that you feel a burden for within your space, within your community, that is a key ingredient to show you that that is one of the passions that you have as a young person. And one of the things also I have also realized is key in terms of revealing to you what your passions are is there are things that happen around you and that happen in your life rather. There are some experiences that you have gone through in your own personal life. And because you have overcome those experiences, you have overcome those challenges, you feel like you want to be of assistance to somebody else so that they don't have to go through the road that you have traveled on. That is also a key in terms of discovering what your passions are. And even as we just take time to reflect on those key areas, I want you to just spend time on your own. You can take your journal, you can write down these questions that I've posed to you so that you can be able to reflect on them, so that you can be able to pause and ask yourself those deep questions. Because at the end of the day, these are keys that will be able to lead you to discover what your passions are. And so finally, now the question is, now how do you connect your passion with business? I know that when you discover who you are as a person rather, when you look at the passions that you have as an individual, you can connect those things that you feel a burden for. You can connect those things that you have a love for. You can connect those things that you have a fire in your heart for, and you can connect it to a problem in your sphere of influence. You can connect it to your community. You look around you. What are some of the problems that are around you that you can be able to solve because of the passions that you have? And when you connect those two, then you can be able to have a purpose-driven enterprise. And I'll give you an example of one. I know there's a young man who struggled with mental health issues. And because of that, he had no one to be able to help him. There was no one to hold space for him. So what he actually did is that he just took time and discovered how music can play a critical role in terms of therapy. And so because he actually used that as a practical aspect of what he did, and he realized that music played a key role in him becoming mentally well. And so because of that, what he did is he took his experiences, he took his challenges, he took the things that he did to overcome the mental health issues that he had, and he started a platform where he produces music that can be able to be therapy to those people who are struggling with mental health issues. And because of that, he came up with a very creative, purpose-driven business as we speak. And I want you to look at that example and look at your own personal life and just discover that the things that you love, the burdens that you have, and you connect it to the problems that probably you have overcome as a person, or the problems that you are seeing around you in your community, you can be able to come up with purpose-driven business. And so I hope this episode has been of value to you. And if that is the case, do not hesitate to like, to share, and to subscribe to my channel. And until next time, do not stop asking yourself the question, can you see me? Thank you so much, and until next time, it's goodbye from me.